What's going on YouTube? It's Vinny here, and today I'm going to show you guys how to replace the front struts, front sway bar links, and front sway bar bushing on a 2011 Honda CRV. This applies to 2007 to 2011 Honda CRVs. All right, you want to first park your car in a level ground, and then you want to lock the e-brake or the parking brake, which on a CRV is down here. And just to be safe, you can use a wooden block or something like this to block the rear wheels so your car does not roll. All right, next you're gonna get your jack and you're gonna put it right under the center of the front frame right here. And you're gonna jack it up just a little bit, leave the tires on the ground, and then after that, we're gonna break all of our lug nuts loose. All right, next, once all of your lug nuts are loose, you can jack the car up with your car jack, and then you wanna get jack stands and put them right over here on this tab right here. That's a lift point for Hondas. So you're gonna do that on both sides, and then you're gonna lower down the car, but leave the jack under the center just as a third jack for safety. All right, next step, remove both of the wheels in the front with a 19mm socket. And once the wheels are off, you're gonna come over here and remove this 12mm bolt to free up the brake line. And we're just gonna push that off to the side. All right, next you're gonna wanna remove this wheel speed sensor wire. You just get a clip tool and get behind it. There you go. And then there's also a little rubber grommet up here. Kind of wiggle that free. Be careful with the wire, and it should pop right out, and then that could just be pushed to the side. All right, next we're gonna remove the sway bar link. So to do that, we're gonna get an 18mm wrench, and I'm gonna get an 18mm socket. By the way, these are aftermarket, so the size may vary. If you have the OEM one, you're gonna have a keyway in here, a hex socket. You'd get a 6mm hex socket with, I think it's a 17 or an 18mm wrench. But in this case, my aftermarket ones is an 18mm on the back and an 18mm socket on the front. We're gonna go ahead and break these loose. We're gonna go ahead and remove the bottom one. All right, once you get those bolts out, you should be able to remove the sway bar link, which we will be replacing today. All right, next we're gonna take off the two lower bolts that hold the strut to the knuckle. What you're gonna need is a 19mm wrench on one side and a 22mm socket on the other. Okay, and then you can get a punch and a hammer and just gently tap these out. So once you get this bottom bolt out or the top, whichever one you take out last, the whole knuckle is going to want to fall outwards towards the outside of the car. So what a lot of people like to do is they like to get a strap to secure the knuckle in place so it doesn't fall too far. If the knuckle falls too far out, then what can happen is your axles right here can get damaged. All right, I just want to show you guys, I got a bungee cord right here, put it around the top of the brake caliper. And then if you look under here, I just put it in one of these holes just to help hold this knuckle from falling outwards. That's how you'll damage your CV joints. So you just want to make sure that this doesn't fully pull out. All right, the next step is you come up to the top of the car, remove this weather stripping, and then you're gonna have this piece of plastic right here. You're gonna want to get a pry tool and just kind of pry it up. Like so. All right, and then you're gonna have 5 14mm nuts that holds the top of the strut. We're gonna go ahead and remove those. Now, when you get to the last one, you just wanna be aware that the strut will fall out. So you wanna be holding the strut as you take the last one out. All right, something to quickly note, when you're taking these nuts out, it might be hard to reach them by hand, but if you get a magnet, makes it easy. All right, and another thing to note, I started with the nuts that are in the back, and then I got the side ones, and I left this one for last. It makes it a lot easier when you're gonna drop the strut out of the car. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove this last one, and we're gonna pull the whole strut out. So also, real quick, right before you do that, just make sure that your hoses are out of the way and your sensor wire, because you just don't wanna break those. Notice how I have my hand in the spring, so I can hold it when it drops down. Got got that last nut out. The only thing supporting this is me holding it. So watch for the brake line and or the sensor wire, and you're gonna carefully lower it down. And that's how you remove the strut. So I'm gonna show you guys a comparison now of the OEM ones that I have in the CRV versus the new one that I just bought. All right, here's just a quick comparison of the OEM strut. I don't know if it was leaking, but as you can see, this is pretty smashed up. The car has 200,000 miles on it, and it definitely needed new struts. Here's the new strut. This is from TRQ. I ordered it on Amazon. The links will be in the description for this. All right, let's go ahead and install this. All right, so to install the strut, the first thing you should do is remove the new nuts. All right, so you're gonna wanna have the strut in this orientation with this slot for the knuckle facing outwards. And when you go to raise it up in there, you want a nut in the other hand so you can put one in to hold it up there. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and install it. So I'm gonna fish this around. All right, it's in the slot. Oh. All right, it's in the slot. I'm gonna go ahead and put the nut in the top. Okay, whew. All right, now I'm gonna get the rest of these and install them up here. Now for the ones that are in the back, if you can't get them on by hand, instead of dropping them and losing them, you could get something sticky and put it on the inside of your socket, or a little bit of grease, and that will help you get them in there. Okay, once you have all the nuts started on the top of the strut, don't tighten those down yet. You're gonna want this to be a little bit loose so we can work on the bottom of the strut. All right, so the next step will be to take off your bungee cord or your strap and carefully put the knuckle into the bottom of the strut. You might have to lift it up a little bit. I've also seen some people, if you can't lift this up, then you can get a jack under it, but just be careful of this dust shield because it can bend pretty easily. All right, I got the top bolt in, and just note that the bolt goes in from the back of the vehicle towards the front. So the nut goes on the front side. Wiggle it a little bit to get them in there. There you go. Now you're gonna get these nuts and screw them on. And these get torqued down to 116 foot-pounds. All right, we're gonna torque these down to 116. All right, now that we have everything torqued down right here, normally you would go ahead and put your sway bar links back in, but since I said I wanted to do the sway bar bushing, I'm gonna do that next, which is right here. What you're gonna need is a 12mm socket to get 2 of these bolts off. If you guys look up in here, there's a sensor right here, a wire. There's a tab on the back. I already have it removed. I just wanted to show you guys. On the back, there's that clip that faces towards the inside of the engine, towards the driver's side. So I would recommend just pinching that tab and removing that out of the way, so when you go to remove these bolts, you don't accidentally break it. All right, so for the bolt in the rear, it's a 12mm. I'm gonna use a short socket, and I can just squeeze it in there and kind of start to walk it off. It's gonna take a little bit, but that'll do. And then you can use the same socket for the other side. Little trick to help you get them out is once they're loose enough, you can just spin the socket. I'm gonna spin the socket, pop that out. And then what you're gonna have left is just this metal bracket on top. That'll slide up, and the actual rubber bushing itself. Notice that the open ends of the bushing are facing towards the rear. So I'm gonna slide that off. All right, we're gonna go ahead and compare these with the new ones. All right, here's the new ones that we got. I got these on Amazon. They're by Moog. Link will be in the description for them. The part number is K200519. So it comes in a pair, and it also comes with that metal bracket. So here's the side-by-side comparison. These ones just look extremely worn out. You can see on that side, that hole is huge. Here's the bottom. Top. Just so you guys can see. So what we're gonna do is install these new ones. I may have forgotten to mention, I have the other side sway bar link disconnected, so that gives us a little bit more play with the sway bar itself. So what you're going to do is get your new sway bar bushings, pop them out of this bracket, and you're gonna wanna open the end, and that's gonna face towards the rear. So this might be a little tough to get on because I can feel this is kind of stiff. And what I'm gonna do beforehand is spray a little lube on the bar itself, on the sway bar, and that might help slide this thing on. Alrighty, that wasn't too bad at all. So that's on. Now you're gonna get your metal bracket, slide that in, and then you're gonna get your two 12mm bolts, and you're gonna feed them in by hand. And you might have to slide this bracket around until you can get the bolt holes lined up. All right, and once you guys get both the 12mm bolts in by hand, you wanna tighten them down evenly. It was a little tougher to get the rear bolt in, but I did actually manage to slip a long socket on it and then try to twist it by hand. And that's how I got that one started. And then the same goes for the front bolt. So I'm gonna go ahead and tighten these down evenly. All right, now it's time to torque those two 12mm bolts for the sway bar bushing. I read online, it says that they get 37 foot-pounds of torque. Now, if you can get a torque wrench in there, then do it. But I don't think I can. So I'm gonna just kind of tighten them as tight as I think 37 foot-pounds is. So not too tight, but you know, they're gonna be pretty snug. So let's get it. Don't forget to reconnect that sensor if you did disconnect it. All right, just wanna show you guys the new sway bar links before I put them in. So here's the old one, and this is an aftermarket one. And then this is another aftermarket one, but it's new. And I got these on Amazon. Again, link will be in the description. And the part number for these is PSA 67795. I'm gonna go ahead and put these in. All right, now that we have the sway bar bushings torqued, we're gonna torque down our sway bar links. These are gonna get 58 foot-pounds of torque. And what I'm using to tighten these new ones up is a 6mm hex socket in the center. And then I'm gonna have an 18mm wrench for the nut. So I just wanna show you guys how I'm tightening this down. Again, I have the 18mm wrench and a 6mm hex socket, and I'm gonna put my ratchet on reverse and just hold the wrench in place, and that's gonna tighten this up. All right, once you torque down your sway bar link, next you're gonna reinstall your 12mm bolt for the brake line bracket, and then you're going to attach your sensor clip and this rubber grommet. Now that that is finished, we're gonna go up top. All right, now we can go ahead and tighten up the 15mm nuts for the strut. So what I like to do is sort of like a star pattern, try to, you know, get them all tight evenly. And then we're gonna torque these down to 33 foot-pounds. And then I just like to go over them again and double check everything. Again, in the star pattern, and this is 33 foot-pounds. All right, then after that, we can go ahead and reinstall our plastic covers. All you gotta do for that is all right, cool. That's back in. You're gonna get our rubber stripping. Install that back like that. And now we're good to put the tire back on. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. All right, I got both the wheels on. I did not torque them down yet. I'm gonna jack the car up, remove the jack stands, and then lower the vehicle. Also, if you blocked off the back wheels, remove those, don't forget. Now you also may have engaged your parking brake. Don't forget to disengage that. And then I would just recommend, make sure you check around that you didn't leave any tools or old parts laying on the car before you close the hood. All right, I went ahead and torqued my lug nuts on both sides to 80 foot-pounds. All right guys, that's pretty much it. That's how you install front struts, sway bar links, and sway bar bushings on a 2007 to 2011 Honda CRV. If you guys have any questions for me, just leave them down in the comments. Links will be in the description for all the parts used as well as some of the tools. Like I said, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I will get back to you guys. It's a little bit of a project, but it's not too bad. I ran out of daylight, but we made it happen. I also made a video on the rear struts, sway bar links, and sway bar bushings as well, so make sure you guys check that out if you're looking to do all 4 corners. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope this helped somebody out there. Be sure to give this video a like if this helped you out, because that really helps me out. And if you guys would like, subscribe, stay tuned, because I just got my first garage. This is fully my garage, and so I'm able to now work on all kinds of cars and fix all kinds of stuff. So I do plan on making a bunch of other videos on that kind of stuff, so stay tuned and subscribe for that. Other than that, I hope you guys all have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.